right, so we're here with the Colonel. We did a whole 45 minutes about Thailand, and now we're going to talk about Colonel. You've been 2 years in the Philippines since you left Thailand. What made you decide to come to the Philippines rather than stay in Thailand or go back to the U.S. or go somewhere else? Why the Philippines?
Okay. We mentioned, just touched a little bit in the last video, but to continue on there, I visited the Philippines, and I absolutely, just in 5 days, fell in love with the people here. And I thought, I moved to Thailand and sold everything, moved to Thailand. I figured I could sell everything and move to the Philippines, so that's what I did. I went back to Thailand and I started preparing to move to the Philippines. And so I had to sell my pickup truck because it's forbidden here because the steering wheel's on the wrong side. and then I sold my motorbike, and I sold other things I had to. I had to sell my refrigerator, I had to sell my laundry machine, stuff I couldn't ship. And then I shipped 19 Bayan boxes to the Philippines, and that's how I got all my stuff over here. And I'm leaving a lot of things out, but that's basically the gist of that. But it was the lure for me to come to the Philippines was the language. I didn't have to worry about speaking Thai anymore, which is a very difficult language to learn, and it's a difficult language to speak correctly. And I found, even though I speak to them in Thai, they still act like they didn't understand. I just got tired of it, and I got tired of immigration. So here in the Philippines, my first experience, I had to go to immigration after 29 days, 30 days, to extend the tourist visa. And when I walked in there in Batangas City, because that's where I went for immigration, they were just so friendly, smiled, happy to see me, welcome, filled out the paperwork for me, which they don't always do, but they did on this particular day because I told it was my first time. They helped me out with everything and turned the paperwork in. A few minutes later, they called me up to the cashier window. I paid them money, and I'm on my way. And I thought, wow, that was so much nicer experience than anything I experienced in Thailand. And I was just like, okay, this is a good start. I bought a motorbike right away because I thought I needed transportation, but I learned early on. Do you want me to get into that, James?
Yeah. The motorbike, the transportation, the tricycles, the jeepneys, the buses.
Right.
Philippines is pretty easy to get around.
So I had a friend that actually helped me move over here to the Philippines, help me with different things, and a great help actually. And then, so when I arrived in Manila, I told my friend that, hey, I need a place to live, and I want to buy a motorbike right away because I want to be able to get around. And I was told, don't do that. And I'm like, no, I want a motorbike, being stubborn like the Colonel is. And I was just, because I think I know everything, or I act like I do, even though I don't. And so I went and bought this huge motorbike with cash that I used from selling my truck. Big mistake, don't do it. And I drove out of Manila down to San Juan, Batangas, where they had found a house for me to rent, very inexpensive house. And I didn't stay in that house for maybe 3 months, and I moved to a different house. But what I learned from that is don't do what I did. You don't need to buy transportation right away because the public transportation in the Philippines is fantastic as far as the availability. You may not like what you're traveling in, but it's there. I could have gotten all the way down to where I was living on a bus. Like in the U.S. would say Greyhound bus, but on a large bus, they leave out of Manila, out the Alps. They go right from Manila right into San Juan, Batangas, where they terminate, and I could have been right there. I could have taken the bus 2.5 hours, been right there where I was living. I didn't know that, so I'm driving this motorbike back from Manila, which I don't ever want to do again. And then also, if you don't have the buses, they have vans that go. You can always hire someone with a private vehicle. You're going to pay a lot more, and they'll take you where you want to go. And then you got the I call them the sardine vans, which because they jam you in there like sardines. And I can't personally do that because I get claustrophobic, which I didn't know until I came to the Philippines. And then there's also the tricycles, and there's the jeepneys. And a lot of Filipino people take the jeepneys because it's an inexpensive way, albeit a dirty, noisy, not the most comfortable way to travel, but it will get you to where you need to go. And that's one of the beauties of the Philippines that I didn't have in Thailand. They have buses and things but they don't have, and they have tuk-tuks. But what I found in Thailand, I didn't feel like the bus system there was at the caliber that is here in the Philippines. So we talk about the infrastructure being better in Thailand, and it is. But when it comes to the buses, I don't feel that way. The bus system here in the Philippines is so much more extensive in Thailand. It's so much easier to get to where you need to go. You just need to learn which bus line goes to the area you want to go to. Like, if you're up north on Luzon, you want to go to Bataan, you need to take the Victory bus or the Bataan bus. If you're going down into Batangas, San Juan area, it's the Alpes bus. If you're going to Trece, Marta Cavite, then it's the Don Padron or something like that.
So the bottom line is it's easy. It's easy to get around here in the Philippines. It's cost effective.
Yeah.
Unless you're up in the Manila area, you really don't need a bike with more than 150 cc's unless you want to, because the roads here rarely go more than 60 miles per hour, around maybe 80, 90 kilometers per hour. Unless you're up by Manila, then you're going to need something like a 400 cc or above to get on the main highway there. Otherwise, you're going to be fine here with a scooter, and you don't even need that. If you're not good on a scooter, you're a retiree, you don't feel like dealing with it, you don't want the expense or the hassle, you can just, like Doug says, the Colonel says, you can just use the public transportation here. It's very effective.
Yeah, and even in Manila, sorry, Jenny, to cut you. Even in Manila, the only reason you need 400 above is if you go on the expressways, the tollways.
Even in Manila.
Most people in Manila, they don't ride anything bigger than an NMAX, anything bigger than 150, 160 cc. They just don't do it. Now, I'm the crazy one that had the 550 cc maxi scooter. Big mistake. Learn from the Colonel that you don't have to do that unless that's just you want to do it like I did.
So you spent some time in Batangas. Now you're in Iloilo. What do you think of how do you compare Batangas and Iloilo? Which one you like better? What are the pros and cons?
Okay, Batangas has some beautiful areas. You got Tagaytay. You got the beaches on the west coast side. On my side where I lived, you got Laia Beach area, which everyone always talks about. It didn't do that much for me, and where I lived, I didn't like the little town I lived in. I was looking for a new place to go. I had visited Rojas City, and I really liked Rojas City, visited it several times, wanted to move there. Didn't really happen the way I wanted, but when it came time to move, I'd also visited Iloilo, and I liked that for a city. If we want to get into that, it's hard to explain until you experience it. But on Luzon, where Manila is, and don't get me wrong, there's some beautiful places in Luzon, and up north, Ilocos Sur, that beautiful areas. But when I came to the island of Panay, which is where Iloilo is, and where Rojas City, Calibo, it's a whole different vibe, for lack of a better word. It's just a different feeling here. It's a more laid back, and even though Iloilo is a city, and people complain about traffic there, I just laugh because the traffic there is nothing compared to being in Manila or on Luzon. And even as a city, the Iloilo is just a laid back atmosphere. That's the vibe. It's just the best way I can describe it. It's just more of a slower lifestyle, and yet has everything that a big city would offer you. Not as much, obviously, but pretty much everything is there that you would want. And so I chose Iloilo as, for me, a stepping point. So I'm on a different island than Luzon, and I've been to other islands also, but I went to Iloilo as a stepping stone. There's everything there, and I was able to move everything off of Luzon. I shipped it on a big truck, on a ferry. I paid for it. It wasn't super cheap, but I did it, and got everything here, and I moved in there pretty much, and now I can travel around this island, or I can still go to other islands, because what does Iloilo have? They have an airport. So, and there's airport in Calibo too, correct?
There's a port there, a seaport too. You can get on the Roro and go to many different destinations with your bike. You can take your bike on the Roro. Right,
I can hop on a ferry with my bike and go over to Bacolod, however you want to pronounce that, or other places for that matter. I choose to fly when I travel if I can, but now that I got little Rawhide over there, this little motorbike, I might start taking some of the ferries, at least to the closer islands, just because it's convenient, and then I have transportation right away, and I'm saving a few pesos. I don't have to go by tricycle or anything like that. Something else to remember, I'll interject here, is if you're a senior citizen, which in the Philippines is 60 years and over, you can ask for that senior citizen discount on the buses, and it's up to them, because they, like the Filipinos, have their senior citizen card, which as foreigners we don't have. Or not supposed to have, I'm told. But most of the time they respect your age, and if you're a senior, they'll give you a little bit. And just as an example, it's a 50 peso savings from where I live to go to Manila. It's not a lot of money, but it adds up over time if you travel back and forth as much as I did. And so it's worth it. And when I was 60 to 61, I never asked for it. But when I turned 61, I started to ask for it. I didn't feel shy to ask anymore. And they don't embarrass you or anything. So that's something to remember if you're older and you're coming to the Philippines, is you can ask for that senior. And that's the only time I asked for it. People told me, oh, you should ask for it here, ask for it there. I only ask for it when I'm traveling on the buses and stuff. So transportation is one of the selling points. First thing for me was the people. And then after I got here, the transportation. The other thing is the food. Let's talk about food for a minute. I ate all that food in Thailand, and everyone talks about how food is so great, and they like Thailand better because the variety of the food. Well, I got tired of eating chilies all the time, because in Thailand, no matter what you eat, you're going to be eating chilies. I like spicy food, but as I'm getting older, I can't handle it like I used to. And I also figured out, don't be offended anybody in Thailand, but I figured out the reason they put so many chilies in their food is because you may not want to taste what what they're feeding you.
Exactly.
Because if you knew what they were feeding you, you'd be like, no thanks. But if you put chilies on it and your mouth's on fire, you could pretty much get anything down because you're not going to taste it. Here in the Philippines, I felt like the food was more Western, less Asian and more of an American style food. Now, not everything, but by and large. But a lot of that's also because I don't eat fish, which I wish I did. I just don't like the taste. But having said that, I felt like most of the Filipino dishes are not much different than what I would cook for myself in the U.S. So it was a good fit for me. So the language, the food was great, and the transportation is great over here.
So how do you like Kalibo and Aklan so far?
Okay, I've been up here visiting James and Karen up here in the Aklan area. I went to Rojas first and spent a couple of days there because I enjoy Rojas City and I like Bye Bye Beach. And then I came over here, and this is my second time here. So if I don't like something, either a restaurant or an area, I don't go back. I go one time. So I'm here for the second time. So that's kind of the precursor to the answer. But the Aklan province in this area is absolutely beautiful in its own way because we're up in the mountains. Now the coastline's not too far from here, and I'm a beach person. But living here, you got all the vegetation. You got we had one day where it was kind of warm, and even today, the sun's out, but there's a cool breeze. It's just kind of nice. It's balmy, I guess is the word I would use. But it's nice. So I love the area, and the people here are very hospitable. And when I say that, I'm not talking about James and Karen. That's obvious. But the people that you don't know,
yeah,
and even Karen's family has just been amazing to me. They don't know me from Adam, and they've just been great. And even the strangers you meet out, and I don't mean to cut you off, James, but the people you meet out in the towns, very polite, very friendly. That barangay captain,
right, invited us right in his house.
Yeah, he doesn't know me. Never saw me before. He's seen James, but never saw me.
We just walked in into a fiesta. They're making bamboo rafts to go down the river. They invited us to be on their floats. Basically, we were like honored guests. And then the barangay captain afterwards invited us into his house. Fed us dinner. It was just really awesome.
Yeah, and let's go back to, I just thought of something about food. San Juan, Batangas, where I lived there, I always felt that the food there, when I would go to the market, and I didn't always go by myself, I had Filipino people with me also, I always felt that the prices there were high. For pork, beef obviously is always high, and chicken, I just felt like the prices were high because I went to other places and other markets in other parts of Luzon and there were lower prices. So let's jump forward now. I'm living in Iloilo. Let's talk about prices, the price difference. I find that in Iloilo, even though that's a city, so in cities you expect things to be more expensive, but it's really not, in my opinion. It's pretty much about what I was paying, because I compare prices, pretty much about the same as what I was paying in San Juan, Batangas, but the chicken is cheaper. The pork generally is cheaper. The beef, about the same, So as far as that, and coming up here now, it's cheaper also. So living up here is a little bit cheaper, probably than even down in Iloilo. But for those of you that are thinking about areas, and as a jump-off point, if you want to come to the Philippines, go to Iloilo or go to wherever you choose. It's up to you. If
Kalibo is a good place. You could start right off in Kalibo. You can fly right into the airport from Manila to Kalibo's airport, or you can go to Iloilo's airport, or you can go to Rojas, or you can go to Rojas, Iloilo, and Kalibo are all good starting points for people coming to the
I think
Philippines.
it's nice too.
Well,
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I've been to Kalibo now, what, 2 times, James? 3 times. And I haven't really got off the motor and walked around and checked it out because it's been pouring down rain every time we go. But, or it starts to rain after we get there, I should say. So I haven't had a chance to really explore Kalibo. But as far as towns or cities go, to me, it's in between a town and a city. So you have amenities there, you have some shopping amenities. Obviously, you don't have the huge SM and stuff like that. But they have malls there, and they have all the other shops there, and there's restaurants. Matter of fact, we ate at a place yesterday for Thanksgiving. The food was outstanding. You know, we didn't have the standard Thanksgiving food, but what we had was, to me,
it was good.
Yeah, it tasted good, and it's almost as good as the James and Karen Adventures restaurant here at the house. Maybe not quite, but it's close. Karen's outstanding cook, by the way. So Kalibo, yes, and now I'll give up a little secret on that. My next area to explore, because I said Iloilo is a jumping off point, I'm going to explore this area a little more in the Kalibo area. I don't want to live in town like I am now. I want to live just on the outskirts because I'm the kind of person, I'm a country boy, but I still like to have the amenities if I want to buy a certain type of food or something that I can't get from the sari store. Probably should explain the sari store, but or the local small mom and pop shops. I like to be able to get some of the other goods from the grocery store. So I like to be near a bigger city or a town. So I'm going to be exploring Kalibo more because it's just absolutely beautiful up here. As long as you don't get too far off the beaten path, it's still beautiful, but you got to have a motorbike to handle it. I still think they're trying to lose me sometimes, but it's all good. But yeah, Kalibo's great. Aklan is great. This province, the people here, and I don't want to, beat it to death. Speaking of other buses, there's a bus right there.
Right there. I mean, you can have a bus be anywhere in the world you want to go.
Yeah, so I could actually take the Ceres bus right up here
right
to James and Karen's, get off right out there on the highway, which is maybe 100 meters away, and walk right up to their house.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. If I had known that, that would have been something to think
bus
about.
Stop. They still stop right here at Kathy Shin's?
Yeah, I could have stopped right here, taken the bus all the way here, if I don't ever want to ride the motorbike. Yeah. And but I've been on that Ceres bus, and the best way to describe the Ceres buses for me on this island is that there's better bus companies in the Philippines.
I enjoy the Ceres
bus. That way.
Karen doesn't like the air-conditioned buses because she gets pukey.
Okay.
But for me, I enjoy the Ceres bus is easy for me.
Well, and like I said, we're all about, everybody has opinions. Everyone has opinions. He says it's comfortable. I'm spoiled by the Alps buses and some of the other buses on Luzon. So my experience on the Ceres bus, and I was on the kind of Karen likes, but you were probably on a newer one. I was on a really old one, and going to Rojas City from Iloilo, and that's when I told myself I won't be doing that again.
All right.
But having said that, that's not a negative ding on the buses in the Philippines.
That's good, Colonel. We got almost 20 minutes. I just want to clarify. So you're a thumbs up on the Philippines over Thailand?
Absolutely, in my opinion, but absolutely for my own reasons, which I've explained. I prefer the Philippines 100% over to Thailand, even though the infrastructure in Thailand is better. It doesn't matter. For me, quality of life is more important of quality of my personal life and my social interactions. Because as you get older, you start thinking about life. And I'm a loner, but as I've gotten older, I'm starting to value more and more friendships with people, and social interaction is becoming a little more important. Can I live alone? And can you live alone in the Philippines? Absolutely. And you can survive and don't have anything to worry about. But life's about choices, and these are the choices that I've made to get me where I'm at.
All right, excellent. I guess we can sign off, and thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe to the Colonel's Chronicles and James and Karen Adventures. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, everybody.